नित्यानन्देश्वर सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वर्यादिशक्तिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome our esteemed special guest for this morning satsang, Thondemandala Adinam, 232nd Guru Mahasannidhanam, Srila Sri Tiruvambala Jnana Prahasa Desika Paramacharya Swamigal. I'll continue to expand on Adinam Chalo series on nitty-gritties of Shaktipada, which I was explaining yesterday. From yesterday I'll continue. I'll give you the essence of yesterday's satsang. Arithmetic logic is not absolute. Anything which is not absolute, you take decisions based on it, becomes your cognition, a damaged cognition produced by decisions taken on non-absolute logic will develop large blind spots in your system. I'll repeat, listen. Decisions taken based on the logic which is not absolute, all those decisions become your cognitions. Those cognitions will have large blind spots. If you are having this difficulty in your life, I know what I am doing is wrong, I don't know why I am doing, means you believed this cockroach girlfriend logic. Cockroach is afraid of rat, rat is afraid of cat, cat is afraid of dog, dog is afraid of you, you are afraid of your girlfriend is again afraid of cockroach. No, it's a good joke. But if you apply this logic on your life and take decisions based on this kind of arithmetic logic, your life will be cruel joke. Good joke should not become cruel joke. Listen. Many times, logic inserted into your system through good jokes becomes part of your thinking, thought current, which becomes a cruel joke. Cognitions developed based on arithmetic logic, which is not acid washed, about which you did not do any investigation. You allowed the blind spots to grow. Place a cruel joke on your life. Listen. Listen deeply. Today, Saturday. Wow. All my sannyasis are beyond time and date. Today is Saturday. The weekend starts today and tomorrow. Let us do a thorough acid wash of our inner space today and tomorrow. I wanted this to be homework today and tomorrow. Where all you have blind spots means, you know, morning 4 o'clock you should be fresh, alive, doing Shivastambha Yoga, Kundalini Raj Yoga, doing Panchakriya and Pada Puja, Shiva Puja, Kirtan, Satsang. After that, literally you should be in Bhava Samadhi, the space of Advaita. Find out, are you in that space? If not, dig out the blind spots where you are playing with this arithmetic logic. Understand, every step of your life need to become conscious. If you are interested in Sadashivatva, the ultimate state, space, manifestation to exist. Yesterday I was explaining about this self-consoling thought currents. Understand? All the haunting questions you have about life, Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat. All of us have haunting questions. Why there is inequality? Why there is poverty? Why there is wealth? Why there is health and disease? Why there is good and bad? Why somebody is happy and why somebody is suffering? Why did I get this woman as wife? Why this man in my life? I can give you some of a foolproof, clear symptoms to find out. Somebody is from India. Even in outside India, whenever guys go to restaurants, they will only see others' plate and order, never the menu card. Whether it is a bus or train or flight, they will put their handkerchief for the window seat. We will only look at the others and make the decision. We do have a lot of haunting questions. Why this to me? Why this not to me? Why not this to me? All these haunting questions, you need self-consoling answers. Especially some of the terrible questions. What happens after death? Where was I before my birth? What is going to happen if I do only good? Why should I not do bad? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? Whether it is superficial questions are fundamental questions. There are tons of questions haunting us. A set of answers are the answer generating thought current. Listen carefully. Set of answers for these questions become philosophy. A set of thought currents which generates multiple answers for these questions becomes darshana, tattva. Understand? Set of thought currents which generates answers for these questions, which can be an amazing self-consoling, which can just put you to rest. But of course, they are not experience, because neither your questions are from experience, nor the doubts are from experience, or the haunting questions are from experience. Most of the haunting questions are also only entertainment. It really happened. One big guy, a very big, powerful government official, came and met me. He said, Swamiji, I have come all the way, traveling from Delhi to meet you. It happened few years before. And just tell me quickly what is God and how to achieve God. I looked at him and he was not even sitting. I told him, please, why don't you settle down? No, in 20 minutes I have to go and catch my next flight. God, within 20 minutes? Of course, possible. If you are ready to open your eyes. Understand? He was filled with such hurry, restlessness. Suddenly I started talking. Sir, how are you? What your wife is doing? What your kids are doing? And I heard you have achieved a lot in your career. And he started talking about his career. And the meeting went on more than 1.5 hours. He forgot about his flight. And after 1.5 hours of elaborately explaining all his great achievements and career and awards, rewards, everything, he forgot all about God. Never he repeated that problem or a question second time. In that 1.5 hours he got with me. And after he went out, to my assistants, he was praising me. What an amazing, intelligent, saintly personality Swamiji is. In that whole 1.5 hours, only 2-3 questions I asked. I did not answer a single question. Neither I was allowed to speak. No, I always let people speak. Of course, in the house they are not allowed to speak, at least in the ashram. Why do you think many grihasthas find ashram very happy? Because almost they don't need to meet their spouses. They don't need to meet them for food. And sometimes you get a great opportunity of deputation outside the campus. And I am seeing a lot of people clapping in Tanjore and Trishulam and Even Chennai. People love Adinam life, really. Finally, the guy did not talk again about this subject. Means, even many questions we believe haunting questions are not really haunting questions. Because they are imaginary haunting questions, the imaginary answers are more than enough. Understand? Each of the darshanas will connect, resonate based on the depth of the question or depth of the cognition from which you are operating. Please listen. If you are very shallow, Vaiseshika is enough. Vaiseshika is the most shallow darshana in the six. That is why it has not survived in a large scale. Of course, I don't want to say it is dead, but it does not have a large practitioners, very less. Then comes, if you are next level questioner, then comes Nayayika, Nyaya. Nyaya suits with very naughty type of questions, completely twisted, unexpected, naughty type of questions. A mother superior on the convocation day is addressing all her girls who are leaving the school. Understand, many people will try to exploit you. Be careful, protect yourself. Just for the sake of 1 hour pleasure, don't destroy your whole life, remaining 23 hours of life. You need to be very careful and you need to be very intelligent to protect yourself. Just for the sake of 1 hour in the bed, don't destroy your 23 hours in the life. One last row girl asked, "Madam, how did you make it to 1 hour?" All right. Very naughty, perverted logic. Nayayika is apt answer for naughty, perverted logic. Very unexpected attacks. Unexpected logical attacks can be handled by Nayayika, Nyaya. Next level. The logic of yoga. A deeper logic of Uttamimamsa. Understand, Jaimini is a great logician, not just doer, a great logician. The philosophy with the most depth, Darshana system with most depth is Sankhya and Vedanta. But listen, I am putting it on record, even both of them are only thought currents. Darshana, a system which gives you self-consoling answers. Listen carefully. Now I am giving you a very important definition. You are consciousness your extension, mechanism, intra-organ through which you perceive is mana, and the gross expression of the mana is body, sarira. Listen carefully. Any idea which breaks into all the three manifests your consciousness through all the three means state, space, manifestation. State, an operating space and manifestation of powers. Any idea, if it makes all these three happen, only it can be called as Satya. Understand? Your ability to handle naughty, surprising, shocking, twisted questions does not mean you have anubhuti. Only if you manifest those thought currents are Satya. Listen very carefully. What you are following, the darshana you are following, the tattva you are practicing, the philosophical thought current you are cherishing. A man who does not have any philosophical thought current for his life is Chandala. A man who lives to make all his thought currents more and more luxury and comforts is Vaishya. The man who lives to strengthen his ideological power-centric understanding through all his thought currents is Kshatriya. The man who entertains and channels all his thought currents and energies towards the ultimate freedom is Brahmana. Understand? You need to understand this truth. The thought currents you cherish inside your system, whether they lead you to more and more restlessness every day, more and more confusion every day, more and more consolation every day. Understand? Not pride, arrogance, no. Straight truth. I am giving you the tools and methodology to analyze whether to follow certain system or a guru or a methodology or not. Anything which does not make you manifest powers, forget about it. It is only consolation thought currents. Yes, it can give you amazing consolation. Read Vedanta, you will have such amazing consolation. And many of the haunting questions will be diverted, forgotten, and missed. As I said, the best lawyer's logic is either convince the judge or confuse the judge. After studying Vedanta, for some questions you will be convinced, about some questions you will be confused. So thoroughly, you will never want to see those questions again. You will never want to think about those questions again. all self-consolation thought currents. But one thing I want to tell you, hats off to Hindu gurus. They never used the human being's vulnerability, the suffering he goes through with these haunting questions to make him violent. They always made sure that is only attended, healed, he is given consolation, which finally makes him live with the whole in tune. Understand? A agitated, haunting question young man can be converted either into a great enlightened being or a powerful terrorist. Both are possible. The kind of a thought current you give him to cherish and discover his answers. Hats off to Hindu gurus, great visionaries of my civilization. I bow down to them. Never one. Never one. They might have had very big difference of opinions amongst them. It's not that. Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, all the thought currents of Shaiva, Vaishnava, Vedanta, Shakta did not fight. There were not even decent, I will say indecent level fights. But never we evolved a system which can systematically produce terrorists. No. We were very clear about it. Our masters were very clear about it. They always went for Shanti. They always went for consolation. That itself is great. So I should not underestimate these self-consoling thought currents. But I want you to know, self-consoling thought currents are not self-realization. They are not satya. They are only darshana. They are only tattva, not tat. Understand? Listen carefully. Anything which penetrates your being, shakes up your consciousness, wakes it, and makes the state and space and manifests through your body. Whenever your consciousness manifests through your body, it manifests as powers. Only if this circle is complete, the thought current is satya. Listen carefully. If it is not, don't call that as satya. Only when you switch it on and the equipment, either fan or light or air condition works, the circuit is complete and it is empowered with electricity, with power. If it does not work, there may be some problem in the circuit, there may be some problem in the equipment, there may be some problem in the switch, or there may not even be power. Understand? But the fundamental truth is, only if a thought current makes you have the state and space and powers, it is satya. It is truth. Awakening of the Shakti is the scale to find out whether the thought current you are cherishing is from Sadashiva. Yes, the great philosophies. May be offering self-consolation, may be offering amazing, convincing answers. Answers are not powers. Do not follow a system which stops just with some consoling answers or a state or a space. Yes, people can teach you. Oh, practice integrity, be responsible. But if they are not able to make you manifest powers through those thought currents, there is a big blind spot somewhere. Understand? Blind spot filled teachings given by a blind spot filled guru to a blind spot called disciple is what Upanishad describes, blind leading the blind. Listen, blind leading the blind, where both will fall, is based on the country you live. Blind leading the blind, where both will fall, is based on the country you live. Only if power manifestation happens when the circle is complete, that thought current is worthy to be followed, that process worthy to be entertained, the Guru worthy of your dedication. Listen carefully. Any thought current stops with consolation, giving you great answers. You go and ask him, how can I open my third eye? For the sake of God, don't open it. For the sake of God, Sadashiva, open it. What kind of a conscious damage to the humanity? Recently I saw one so-called spiritual guru. No, he is telling, why do we pour milk, honey, ghee on Shivalingas so that they will be always wet and they will not crack. Crack? Crack is the answer. No, it is actually a 295A hurting the religious sentiments. Understand, it is actually hurting the religious sentiments. No, you are pouring milk, honey, ghee. It seems that fat will keep the stone wet, so the stone will not crack. So it is only a maintenance. One side straight anti-Hindu forces saying, oh, why do you spend 20 rupees on a milk and pour on Shivalinga? Better give it to a poor child who does not have a milk. Oh God, yes. Why should we waste 300 rupees on your cinema ticket? And better 300 rupees, you can serve more kids than 20 rupees. I tell you, One side, those anti-Hindu attacks from outside, external attacks. Other side, internal collapse. Somebody telling, you pour milk, ghee and honey on Shivalinga and keep it wet so that the stone will not crack. God, crack. What kind of answer? What kind of a logic? There are 1,000 sacredness associated with why we pour milk, ghee and honey, all that on Shivalinga. I can start giving 1,000 answers which are in tune with the original sacred sentiment why we are doing this. Understand? In those days, our whole work was taking care of cows. What is the essence of the whole day's work? The milk you get. What is the essence of even the milk you get? Is the ghee finally you make. And what is the essence of whole day you going around the forest and trying to collect honey? The honey you get. The essence of all our day efforts, the whole day efforts essence is our life. Literally we spent our whole life on this. So this is the essence. The result, fruit, essence of our life. We offer it to the representation of Sadashiva, towards whom we feel highest sacred sentiment. Most sacred. First of all, the fundamental. When somebody asks me, why do we pour milk, honey, ghee on the lingas? I'll say, no, we don't pour on linga, we pour on Sadashiva. That is a fundamental shift the questioner is supposed to have. Understand? The fundamental shift in sacred sentiment is required. If you cannot cause that shift, please do not interfere in our religious matters. Stop with what you are expert. Not on religious matters. Pouring milk on linga is the subject of Agama. If you do not have respect for Agama, if you have not read them, if you are not ready to revere them, please do not invade into our sacred. And that questioner is asking, so is it all about maintenance, Guru? Yes, it is all about. You need to pour continuously milk and ghee to keep a stone without cracking. Then the temple tower is made of the same stone. No milk, water, ghee is poured on it whole day and night. Why that is not cracking? If it is only a maintenance issue, my masters are brilliant enough, rich enough, asking us, hey, pour the milk and ghee and honey on the whole temple tower, and we will be doing it. They are rich enough to command and we are obedient enough to do. Understand? If you are master of one thought current, I don't even question your mastery. Please keep it to that. Pouring milk on linga is the subject of agama, not the subject of yoga. It's a subject of agama. If you have reverence for agama, reverence enough to listen to the sacred sentiments of agama, understand? When you read the scriptures, if you have enough reverence and feeling connection, the sentiments, layers of sentiments behind those words will resonate in your heart. Once I had that experience. There is a beautiful book called Sri Sri Ramakrishna Punti in Bengali. In English it is translated as Portrait of Sri Ramakrishna. And I started learning, reading and writing Bengali just to read this book. And my sannyas guru Hamsanandapuri, he was staying in a place called Telghat in Calcutta. There was a huge company, Burns Standard Motors, or Burn Motors. I forgot the company name. In front of that company, there is a small ghat called Telghat, and where he used to stay is old person who can't read. He was too old. I think he must be at least above 100. Only above 100 we call old in India. And he can't read. He will ask me, hey, read this Ramakrishna Punti. And I still remember how just in few hours, in 48 hours, he just literally blessed me to read and write Bengali. And still I remember some of the lines. Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Vanja Kalpataru, Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Jagadir Guru, Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Sabaya Sarane. Ishtagoshti Gan. It's a inaugural verse. I bow down to Ramakrishna, who is Vanja Kalpataru. I bow down to Ramakrishna, who is Jagater Guru, means the universal Guru. Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna Ishtagoshti Gan. Shobhayar Shorene Renu Mageye Adam. Let me have the feet dust of all who lived, worshipped, revered, connected with Sri Ramakrishna. Understand, it is not the lines. The way he will sit while I am reading out those lines, the reverence he will show for that scripture made me realize the sacred sentiments loaded in those verses. I will literally feel every line is loaded with so much of feeling connection. The way he will treat that book and the way he will sit, even though being so old, will not even stretch his leg if I am reading out this book for him. He literally gave me the power to read and write Bengali in 48 hours. So I can read out this book for him. To understand the scripture, first of all, you need reverence. Second, deep feeling connection. So, the sacred sentiments loaded in that scripture reveals itself to you. Sacred sentiments are always a patni, with shyness. Understand? A patni with shyness will reveal herself to you only in a deep love and feeling connection. She is not prostitute. Logic is prostitute. You don't need anything. It will open itself in front of you. But sacred sentiment of feeling connection is patni, kulastri with shyness. You need a deep reverence and feeling connection for her to reveal herself to you. Understand, if you read scriptures, if you have a reverence for the scriptures, if you have feeling connection for the scriptures, declare that first and then talk about the matters of scriptures. The alternative pop mythologists are not gurus and acharyas of Hinduism. Alternative, overrated pop mythologists. Listen to the words I am using. Overrated pop mythologists. Don't comment on the subjects of Agama. It is hurting our religious sentiments. The fruit of our whole life. Understand? In those days, the best possession you can have is a cow. The work you need to do whole day is taking care of them. So the fruit of your whole day's action, the karma pala, is a milk. And you churn that and get ghee. So it is the essence of your whole day's work. We decide to take part with that essence, with Sadashiva, as our gratitude offering, the offering of the sacred sentiment we carry about Sadashiva. We carry with Sadashiva. We carry towards Sadashiva. This kind of a interpretation is like, now I am saying, pour the life essence milk on Sadashiva. Later on, somebody who sees this video and saying, yes, he's in our ashram only, let us pour on him. Not on that Sadashiva, I am talking about this Sadashiva. Brahmachari Sadashiva. If somebody later on interprets, yes, Swamiji told about this boy only. How completely confusing interpretation it is. That is what exactly these guys are doing here. When we pour it on Sadashiva, these guys call it, we pour it on Linga. Hey. Where it falls does not matter. On whom it is expected to fall matters. Where it falls does not matter. Remembering whom it is poured matters. Where it falls is mundane. Remembering whom it is poured is sacred. To whom it is poured is Sat. Where it falls is mundane. Change your name to Mundane Guru. If you are looking at only where it falls and making comments on it, to whom it is poured is Sat. Where it falls is mundane. we don't care about it. We poured it for somebody else. We poured it for somebody else. To whom we poured matters, not where it falls. I'll continue to help you to discover the blind spots. Understand the reverence, sacred sentiments associated with our actions needed to be understood with that very strength of that sacred sentiment and feeling connection. First of all, the logical systems evolved for self-consoling answers should not be applied on sacred rituals. If you apply, as Mundaka Upanishad says, avidyayam antare vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana janganyamana paryantimuta ante naiva niyamana yatantaha, living amidst the ignorance and thinking themselves with false pride that we are the wise scholars, being learned in the scriptures as we are. They don't even feel that they are learned in the scriptures, but they think they are capable of solving all problems of the universe. The foolish, non-discriminative people thus wander about lacking the vision of true knowledge while being wounded and afflicted by the many incompletions, just like the blind people being led by the blind. Ante naiva niyamana yatantaha. Surely there are tons of sacred reasons why we pour milk on Sadashiva and why it falls on Shivalinga. If you look at why we pour, it is Sat. If you look at where it falls, it is mundane. The moment it is poured, purpose is over. It is mundane people who look at where it falls. Who looks at why it is poured catches the sacred. Who looks at where it falls catches the mundane. Essence of today's satsang. Why we pour is sacred, where it falls is mundane. Why we pour is Sat, where it falls is mundane. So many times we don't even pour on linga. We just pour in the banks of rivers, ocean, not even inside the river, in the banks. We just make the sand heap and pour it on that. Oh, maybe the sand should not crack. No, I just want to know why we pour on beach sand, on the banks of Ganga, on the beaches of ocean. We make a heap of sand, or just get a stone in the street and put it. And if we don't get anything, just the corner milestone. I do wanted to put it on record, my strong protest Some Tamil Nadu atheist organizations are trying to put Yajñopaveetam for pigs in a very derogatory, abusive way, and they are trying to do this as a protest to disrespect the tradition of Yajñopaveeta. First of all, I wanted them to know Yajñopaveeta is not restricted to one community, Brahmins, as you think. It belongs to all whole Hindus. That is the first thing. Second thing I want to tell, as practitioner of Agama, who used Yajñopaveeta on himself, means I used Yajñopaveeta on me, and I promote thousands of people I have initiated in Yajñopaveeta. Me and my Sangha strongly protest, oppose this kind of a disrespectful context act. Third, understand, for us, even pig is sacred. But you are not doing from that sentiment. You are doing this act to abuse and disrespect us, which cannot be accepted, which will not be welcomed. And this is not 1960s. Understand, all these stupid things you can do not after 1978. For us, even pig is representation of Varaha. And we have already put Yajñopaveeta on him and we are worshipping. But we will not equate that and what you are trying to do. What you are trying to do is from totally abusive context. Hindus are no more fools to keep quiet and listen to whatever you guys are doing. ஐயோ, தமிழில் வாயை திறந்தன்னா இவனுங்க என்ன ஆவானுங்கன்னு தெரியலையே. இந்த பகுத்தறிவு பன்னாடை பன்றிகளுக்காக பணத்திற்கு மலம் தின்னும் பன்றிகளே, பன்றிக்கு பூணூல் போடும் ஆர்ப்பாட்டம் என்கின்ற பெயராலே சில பகுத்தறிவு பன்னாடை கும்பல்கள் ஹிந்து மதத்தை மட்டுமே எதிர்ப்பதாக கங்கணம் கட்டிக்கொண்டு மற்ற சமூகங்கள் மதங்களில் எத்துணை அறிவு சாராத விஷயங்கள் இருந்தாலும் அவைகளையெல்லாம் பார்ப்பதில்லை என்று நவத்வாரங்களையும் மூடிக்கொண்டிருக்கும் இந்த நாதாரிகள் ஹிந்து மதத்தில் மட்டும் எந்த பிரச்சனையும் இல்லை என்றாலும் கூட தின்ற பணத்திற்கு அதிகமாக கூவியே ஆக வேண்டிய கட்டாயத்தினால் தொடர்ந்து எங்களுடைய வாழ்க்கை முறையையும் மத உணர்வுகளையும் புண்படுத்தி கொண்டே இருப்பதை தங்கள் வாழ்க்கை முறையாக வைத்துக்கொண்டு பன்றிக்கு பூணூல் போடும் ஆர்ப்பாட்டம் என்று ஒரு மூடத்தனமான ஆர்ப்பாட்டத்தை அறிவித்திருக்கிறார்கள். முதல் விஷயம் நான் சொல்ல வேண்டியது, அவங்களுடைய இந்த அடிப்படையான ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் என்னன்னா, பூணூல் தமிழனை சூத்திரனாக்குவதாகவும் ஏதோ மிகப்பெரிய பிரிவினையை செய்வது போலவும் காட்டுகிறார்கள். முதல் விஷயம், யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் என்று சொல்லப்படும் பூணூல் நீங்கள் நினைப்பது போல் பிராமணர்களுக்கு மட்டுமல்லாமல் எல்லா ஜாதியினரும் உபயோகப்படுத்துகின்ற விஷயம். தமிழ்நாட்டில் பலாயிரம் ஆண்டுகளாக கீழடியின் காலம் தொட்டு, கீழடியில் அகழ்வாராய்ச்சியில் கிடைத்த அந்த நாகரீகம் முறையாக காமிகாகமத்தின்படி கட்டப்பட்டுள்ள ஊர் என்பதை என்னால் ஆதாரங்களுடன் விளக்க முடியும். மூத்த குடித்தமிழன், சைவத்தமிழன். வேதாகமங்களை வாழ்ந்தவன், வாழ்கின்றவன், வாழப்போகின்றவன். ஆண்டு ஆட்டம் போடும் அல்லக்கைகளால் 60,000 ஆண்டு பரம்பரையா ஆடிவிடப் போகின்றது. முதல் விஷயம், ஆகமங்களை கடைபிடிக்கின்ற வாழ்க்கை முறையை வாழ்பவர்கள் நாங்கள் என்பதனால் யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் எல்லோருக்கும் சொந்தமானது. ஒரு குலத்திற்கு மட்டும் அல்ல, மொத்த இந்துக்களுக்கும் சொந்தமானது. முதல். இரண்டாவது, இதனால் யஞ்ஞோபவீதத்தை, பூணூலை அவமதிப்பது மொத்த இந்துக்களையும் அவமதிப்பது. மூன்றாவது, மிகவும் முக்கியமானது, பன்றி கூட எங்களுக்கு வழிபடும் தெய்வங்களுள் ஒன்று. ஆனால் நீங்கள் அந்த நோக்கத்தில் இதை செய்யவில்லை. உங்கள் நோக்கம் அவதூறு செய்வது. உங்கள் நோக்கத்தை மிக வன்மையாக கண்டிக்கின்றோம். பன்றிக்கு பூணூல் போட்டு வராகமூர்த்தி என்று நாங்கள் வழிபாடு செய்வது வேறு, நீ பன்றிக்கு பூணூல் போட முயற்சிப்பது வேறு. அது உன் பன்றி, இது எங்கள் பன்றி. எங்கள் இனப்பன்றிகள் எல்லாம் வழிபடத் தகுந்தவை. உங்கள் இனப்பன்றிகள் உங்களை போல் இழிவுபடத் தகுந்தவை. என்ன வேண்டுமானாலும் இந்துக்களை செய்வது, அவர்கள் சும்மா இருப்பார்கள் என்று நினைத்து கொண்டிருந்த காலம் போய்விட்டது. இது ஒன்றும் 1960 அப்பு. தேடி தேடி போய் ஏன் உட்கார்ற ஆப்பு மேலே? எல்லாம் நல்லா தானே போயிட்டு இருக்கு. பூணூல் போடுறதுனா என்ன? கருவழி பரம்பரைக்கும் குருவழி பரம்பரைக்கும் அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷனுக்கு, நம்முடைய வாரிசுக்கு நம்முடைய சத்தியங்களை கொடுப்பதற்காக அளிக்கப்படுகின்ற தீட்சை இந்த பூணூல் போடுறது. இதை மீறி பன்றிக்கு பூணூல் போடும் போராட்டத்தை நடத்தினால் நித்யானந்த பீடத்தின் சார்பில் பன்றிகளுக்கு கருப்பு சட்டை அணிவித்து போராட்டம் நடத்தப்படும். தேவையில்லாமல் சட்டம் ஒழுங்கை சீர்குலைப்பதற்காக, மக்களுடைய மத உணர்வுகளை புண்படுத்துவதையே வேலை என்று செய்து கொண்டிருக்கும் இதுபோன்ற சமூக விரோதிகள், சட்ட விரோதிகள், இந்து விரோதிகள் தங்கள் வாளை சுருட்டி உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை கவனித்துக் கொண்டு வாழ வேண்டுமாறு பணிவன்போடு வேண்டி கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். எல்லோரும் யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் அணியுங்கள், காயத்ரி மந்திரத்தை ஜெபம் செய்யுங்கள். சமய தீட்சை எடுத்துக்கொள்ளுங்கள். அடுத்து ஆகஸ்ட் 7ஆம் தேதி அன்று வருகின்ற அனைத்து இனத்தவருக்கும் மதத்தவருக்கும் திருவண்ணாமலையில் யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் அளிக்கப்பட்டு, காயத்ரி தீட்சை அளிக்கப்பட்டு, சமய தீட்சை அளிக்கப்படும். அது போராட்டம் அல்ல, வேரோட்டம். நீ எத்துணை போராட்டம் செய்தாலும் எங்கள் வேரோட்டத்தை நிறுத்த முடியாது. என்னுடைய பக்தர்கள், சீடர்கள், சந்நியாசிகள், பிரம்மச்சாரிகள், யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் தாங்குகின்ற எல்லோரும் இந்த போராட்டத்தை எதிர்ப்பதற்கு கடமைப்பட்டிருக்கிறீர்கள். நன்றாக தெரிந்து கொள்ளுங்கள், நம்முடைய சந்நியாசிகள் சைவ சம்பிரதாயத்திலும் வேதாந்த சம்பிரதாயத்திலும் சந்நியாசிகள் யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் அணிவதில்லை. ஆனால் யஞ்ஞோபவீதத்திற்கு சமமாகத்தான் யோக வல்லாடு அணிகின்றோம். யஞ்ஞோபவீதம் அணிகின்ற பௌதீக பிரம்மச்சாரிகள், நைஷ்டிக பிரம்மச்சாரிகள், கிரகஸ்தர்கள், யோகவல்லாடு அணிகின்ற சந்நியாசிகள், இவர்கள் எல்லோருக்கும் இந்த போராட்டத்தை எதிர்ப்பது அடிப்படை கடமை. பெரிய பிரச்சனையே என்னன்னாங்கய்யா, ஏதோ பண்ணிட்டு போறாங்க, நம்ம பூணூல் கரெக்டாக தானப்பா இருக்கு. ஓ, உங்க பூணூலை வந்து அறுக்கிற வரைக்கும் நமக்கு இல்லை அப்படின்னு படுத்திருப்போம் இல்லையா? அப்படி படுத்திருந்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க வந்து அறுக்க போறது உங்க பூணூலை இல்லை, தலையன்னு சொல்ல வந்தங்கய்யா. சாஸ்திர பிரமாணம், காமிகாகமும் உத்தரவாதத்தில் மிக தெளிவாக யஞ்ஞோபவீதத்தை அளிக்க வேண்டிய விதிகளை பற்றி விளக்குகின்றது. சாஸ்திர பிரமாணத்தோடு நாம் வாழுகின்ற நம் வாழ்க்கை முறை நம்முடைய மத சுதந்திரம். இதை அவதூறு செய்வதற்கு யாருக்கும் உரிமை கிடையாது. இதை அவதூறு செய்வதற்கு யாருக்கும் எந்த விதத்திலும் உரிமை கிடையாது. இந்திய நாட்டின் அரசியல் சாசனம் நம்முடைய மத வழிபாடுகளை நாம் செய்வதற்கு உரிமை அளித்திருக்கின்றது. யாருடைய மத உரிமையையும் அவதூறு செய்வதற்கு உரிமை அளிக்கவில்லை. யஞ்ஞோபவீதத்தை நாங்கள் மிகுந்த பக்தியோடு வழிபடும் யஞ்ஞோபவீதத்தை உங்கள் வெறுப்பிற்கு பலியாகி இருக்கின்ற பன்றிக்கு அளிப்பது, போடுவது மத உணர்வுகளை புண்படுத்தும் செயல். பன்றி எங்களுக்கு வேண்டுமானால் புனிதமாக இருக்கலாம், உங்களுக்கு நீங்கள் புனிதம் என்கின்ற நோக்கில் அதற்கு பூணூல் போடவில்லை. உங்கள் நோக்கம் எங்கள் மத உணர்வுகளை புண்படுத்துவது. நிச்சயமாக பொறுத்து கொண்டு சும்மா இருக்க மாட்டோம். அன்னை காயத்ரி பிரத்யங்கிராவாகவும் மாறுவதற்கு சக்தி படைத்தவள். இதை கடுமையாக கண்டிக்கின்றேன். பன்றிக்கு பூணூல் போடும் போராட்டத்தை கடுமையாக கண்டிக்கின்றேன். இதை எதிர்க்க வேண்டியது இந்து மதத்தை வாழுகின்ற என்னுடைய எல்லா சீடர்களுடைய பொறுப்பு, கடமை. And with this, today the homework is to discover the blind spots we leave while we are practicing the principles, highest principles in our life. Essence of today's satsang: to whom we pour is Sat, where it falls is mundane. Seeing to whom we pour is Sat, seeing where it falls is mundane. So, actually in Hindu tradition, even the deity is Archavatara. Even that cannot be called as mundane. Of course, when you don't even know the concepts of all this, you will only see that as an ordinary stone and you will think it is oiling. Now in your life, if whole day you are soaked in Bhava Samadhi, you will feel it is poured for Sadashiva. Whole day you are only getting oil massage, you will only feel, oh, that also needs oil massage. No, what is your lifestyle? Only based on that you will decide, you will understand things. So with this, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam, Sada Shivoham, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.